Hey y'all, Donna here at Hazelbell Farm. So I've been asked 3 times this week about how we made our raised bed. So I'm going to do my best to do a real quick video and get it posted up for you guys. This was mostly materials that we had on hand. We did purchase a little bit. That was before the rising prices in lumber was just so exorbitant to buy anything for anything. Okay, so this is a box, I'm actually sitting in it, that we ran out of soil for last year. So I need to get it weeded out and soil brought in, but it works out because I can show you guys how we built these. So we used roofing material. This is just Galvalume roofing material. I think they are 26 inches wide and they were 12 feet long. This was material that we pulled off of an old shed at our last house when we rebuilt a shed, and it was good. So we just held on to it till we were ready to build these boxes. We used a metal cutting saw blade on a circular saw to rip them lengthwise, and so they're about 13 inches deep, right in half. And then we cut them so that they could be 8 by 4. That worked out well for a 12-foot long piece. That was perfect, mostly perfect. They're mostly 12 feet. I mean, they didn't have to be exactly perfect. So the only thing that we did have to buy are the 2 by 2 sticks of lumber. So these come in 8-foot pieces, and that's what you see here on the top, on the bottom, and then in the corners. So there's one on each side. Here you can't see past this, but and then we added some in the middle in between here for support on the 8-foot sides. So basically all we did was lay those 2 by 2 sticks down, lay the metal down on top, and then we used self-tapping screws to screw that in. Here's what that looks like. So these are self-tapping screws for the metal. I'm kidding. These are self-tapping screws, and those come in a big box. Okay, so basically from there we basically had the 4 panels, and we would just kind of lay them out in our workspace, and then we used 4 by 4 posts. This was more material that we already had, so you can see like there's old paint on them. So these are 4 by 4 posts we cut into pieces. This did take 2 people. This is something that it's nice to have some extra hands. So one of us would hold this up, and then the other one would stand up the metal piece. It did not have this board on at the time as we constructed, so we would stand up the framed out metal, and then we used a nail gun or screws in some cases. I think it just depended on what materials we had. So you can see these were nailed in to that 4 by 4. And so we went around and did all 4 sides like that. And then once we got them mostly square, because at that point it can kind of shift back and forth, and so you have to like check your angles on the corners to make sure that it's good. And once we got that racked so that it was straight, we used these rough cut lumber, these 1 by 6s to put on top. So that's also something that we already had. And then these have been moved, so they've held up okay. There are some places like that piece has some rust on it, and that's okay with me. But there are a few pieces like this one. I think I've got 3. I think I have 2 or 3 spaces throughout all of the boxes, and there's 14 boxes that this has happened. So you can see where these screws have popped out. So we've got to fix that here pretty soon. So it's pretty easy. It was a 2-man job. We just did it when we had time, and then moving them, they got a little bit beat up, but I think they're doing well. They held up well so far. So that's it. We have 14 boxes here. They are 4 by 8. I have filled them with landscape potting soil purchased at a landscape supply store, local. They delivered 12 yards last year. We did the best we could with what we had, but this box we didn't have enough to fill. And then this year, So that was last year we put the soil in. This year I'm topping them with compost. It's just bagged compost that I purchased by the pallet at Home Depot. So yeah, it seems to be working okay for us. We're building the soil with each season, and so I'm looking forward to like next year when the soil is better established. But the boxes seem to be holding up fairly well for the little bit of investment I have in them. That's time and money. So I hope that helps. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for watching.